You've got Oscar in Mexico. You're on with Don and Matt. How are you?
Oh, hi, Matt. I'm great, thank you. Well, as good as I can be. It's a bit hard because of the COVID and all of that.
Sure. I just get on with your question, and we'll see what we can do.
I mean, I was talking. I decided to talk here because I wanted to discuss a bit about it's a bit weird of a question, but about the search of some sort of spiritual meaning in life when you're an atheist. It's a
I don't know what
yeah,
spiritual means.
Yeah, you need to tell us what you mean by spiritual life, because the word
yeah,
spiritual
yeah.
means so many different things to people that I view it as fairly meaningless. So what is it
Yeah,
you're looking for?
I'm. I mean it more in the sense of a drive to keep doing things because I could say it in closer to the interpretation of Sam Harris than the interpretation of the Bible or the religions. You know, in a way of
I th-
what?
I can take a I
I
can
mean,
take a shot at that.
I'm not even sure I understood it, so go for it.
Well, he's saying, a drive to do something. It's like I have a finite life here. I'm very lucky to be here, and I'm not going to be here forever. I have some good health right now, and I'm going to take advantage of it and work hard, make some money, save for the future. I'm going to do some volunteer things to help out and make the world a better place. Um, and at the end of the day, when I am close to death, I can look back on my life and say, hey, I did a pretty good job with the life I had.
Yeah, I'm fine with
yeah.
talking about whether in a world where I don't believe in a God, what is the meaning and value of life? That's fine. I just still don't understand what you mean by spirituality.
I mean, it's a bit complicated because in a way, I was closer to the Sam Harris interpretation that is like the exploration of self and what's the word in the self or the not or the self because when you do not have the mystical safety net that is the idea of a god covering your back or that there's a nirvana or all of it, all of that stuff, your sense of self becomes malleable and even slightly insignificant in the grandeur of the cosmos. It's a bit.
But
It feels hollow.
what if, Oscar, religions have given us an inflated sense of self-value, and an absence of religion actually puts our sense of value much more accurately where it should be. To note that a world without a God means that we are irrelevant to the cosmos and that we are in fact a tiny, tiny, tiny little insignificant thing in the grand scheme of things is actually accurate. So it's like
I'm not.
it's like religions are telling you that you're going to inherit $1 billion when you're 40, and we're saying, where's the proof of that? And they can't come up with it. And I'm saying it would be a bad idea to live your life as if you're going to be a billionaire at 40 without actual evidence for that.
No, I'm perfectly aware of that. I do not. I'm not really like um, um, advising to take the inflated idea that religion gives to the self because I know that's a delusion. I became an atheist after this this idea that praying can help and can God is there for us failed me because all my family was praying that an uncle was going to get better when he was ill and he died and for a moment I thought God oh my gosh God is a jerk but no then I realized no it's not that God is a jerk it's that maybe there's no God maybe this idea is just it's here to give people a sense of comfort, even if it's false. I understand that religion is, in a way, poisoning the mind by uh, distorting the concept we have in reality. But once we are in this position where we understand that we are finite, we are small, we are not special, we don't have to be the center of the cosmos that most religions give us as a position, what mm, how do people cope with that? Because it's a bit harder. I mean, I know that I'm coming a bit from a position of fear because
Yeah.
I have I have pondered a bit about mortality here because of the current situation, and partially because I also have some chronic conditions regarding my respiratory system. So in a way, I have to come to terms with the fact that I probably might die during this quarantine because if the virus enter, I'm done. But that's like the thing. How do you people cope with that? That the fact that we are just limited beings in the grand scheme of the universe. Because
I think what you're describing is what would be called existential angst, right? Of trying to figure out what to do with yourself, right? If you just realize that it's just you and trying to figure out the world, and this is something that I think a lot of atheists have to wrestle with, and the answer might be, pursue things that give you pleasure and that will, make the world a better place. And as I said earlier, at the end of your life, you will have something good to look back on, and you will have left good memories for other people. Maybe a positive legacy. I mean, that's the best we can hope for.
Hey, Oscar, is it manejamos that is cope with?
What?
In Spanish, cope with it. Would that be manejamos?
Manejamos. It's a bit complicated. I don't think there's a proper word
for cope.
For cope, because English has a lot of specificity with its terms. I mean, with the word smile, for instance.
Yeah, I was trying. No, I'm sorry.
I have parents like leer, like smear, like all of that. All of those words have specific meanings.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Spanish, we only have the word sonrisa, and that word is nowhere near as useful to describe. So we really don't have a word to cope.
To cope, yeah.
To cope is so it's actually a little harder because I'm also living with a religious family. They do know that I'm an atheist, but if I want someone to talk about mortality and the finality of the human existence, it always ends a little muddled with the idea of spirituality, that I have to seek of God, that I have to read the Book of John or whatever.
Yeah, my Spanish.
It's a little hard.
My Spanish is terrible, and I was looking for a way that I might do this in a way that would be a good clip for Spanish-speaking people, because whether or not the universe cares with you, I understand that can be difficult to cope with, but it's because you've had a false expectation delivered that the universe should care about you, when really the only thing that matters is that we care about each other. So, tú eres importante para ti y para mí, y yo soy importante para mí y para los demás, or to others. I don't know if I got that right, but my Spanish is fucking awful. So the best I can do is say that if I'm mired in existential angst, if I'm feeling inferior because I've just discovered that the universe doesn't care about me, I can take comfort in the fact that the number of people who cared about me, the number of entities that cared about me, didn't change one bit when I got that information. I just now have an accurate sampling. And it's like Trump trying to keep people who were infected on the boat from being tested because he didn't want to inflate the numbers. It doesn't affect how many people are actually infected. It just affects how many people we know are infected. And so he's falsely lowering the number, or was a couple of months ago. And now we have a little bit more accurate number. And so when I find out that the universe does not in fact care about me, and that to the best of my knowledge, there are no gods who care about me, the number of people who actually cared about me didn't change. I just got a more accurate view of reality.
I think, Oscar, you need to reach out and find an atheist group there, or a skeptics group, and make some friends there where you can talk about these things with people who are sort of your friends and closer to you.
I appreciate the call,
Okay.
Oscar. I got to move on. I got 2 more calls I want to try and get to, and we're already over time, but we really appreciate the call.
Okay, wait. Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And now I'm going to get 25 emails about how absolutely awful my Spanish was and everything. And I know, I already knew. I took 2 years of Spanish,
You
30 years,
did better than me, than I would have done.
35 years ago, I think.